Hello everyone, welcome to this video. In this video, we are going to talk about the teaching aptitude, and this is part 1. And this video is important for IPU and NET exam. Okay, the IPU B.Ed exam and the NET exam because the questions are asked from this portion very frequently. So let's see what are the topics which we will cover in this video. This is the part 1. Okay, so if you like the video, then do subscribe to the channel. So the topics which are covered in this particular video, we are going to talk about some introduction about teaching aptitude, like what is it. Then we are going to talk about different definitions which are given by different authors. Then we are going to cover the topic which is called as what are the objectives of teaching, and in the end we'll cover the nature of teaching. So let's start. But before beginning, let me tell you that we are planning to launch a DU based test series which will be costing around 250 rupees for 10 tests. Okay, like you have to pay 250 rupees and you will get 10 tests based on DU's pattern, because DU's pattern is little bit different from IPU's pattern. So if you want to enroll, you can fill up the form which is there in description. Payment link will be shared later with you. So let's begin with the meaning of teaching aptitude first. So what is the meaning of it? What is the meaning of teaching? When we say teaching, what is meant by it? So teaching का simple meaning जो है वो है instruct someone और impart knowledge. ठीक है, किसी को भी कुछ समझाना या फिर अपनी knowledge उनके साथ share करना. That is a kind of teaching. Then this teaching is often accompanied by the flow of ideas, instruction, and knowledge, and generally it proceeds from mature to immature. Here you can see that this teacher is immature while she is like you can say transferring the knowledge to the immature uh, people who are students in this case. Okay, so instructing someone or imparting your knowledge is simply called as teaching. And what is meant by aptitude? Aptitude means a skill, okay, an ability to perform something, that is called as aptitude. So this was the broad meaning of teaching aptitude and the definition of teaching. So now let's see the different definitions which are given by the different scholars. So there are 5 to 6 scholars who have given the definition, and you just have to remember their surnames or first name, okay, whatever way you can remember, because in the exam you will get only MCQs. Okay, so if you just remember the one word, that will be useful, because remembering one word is easier, and in exam if you see the question with that particular word, then you can simply proceed with it. So the first person is Edmund. Okay, so you just have to remember the name Edmund, no surname and the other names are needed, just remember this is given by Edmund. Then what he says that teaching is an interactive process which involves classroom. Okay, so this is basic and a very crude definition as per the Edmund. Then there is another person whose name is Clark. He says teaching is designed and performed to produce changes in the student behavior. Okay, so that is given by Clark. The third person is Morrison, who says the intimate contact between more mature to less mature personality is called as teaching. Okay, so here the keywords which you have to remember for these different scholars are, for example, Edmund talks about the teaching in classroom. Okay, there is MCQ and it mentions about Edmund, then you are supposed to remember the keyword classroom. Okay, I am highlighting that. If the question is based on Clark, then the keyword would be to bring a change in student behavior. That is a key thing according to Clark. Okay, so you can highlight this word student behavior. Then Morrison. So Morrison says that it is transfer of knowledge from mature to less mature. So here the term would be mature to less mature, which will be your keyword, right? In this way you can remember it. Then other two scholars are also there. The first is Ryan. He says guidance or direction of learning for others is referred to as teaching. When you guide somebody, you are actually teaching, he says. Okay, so it is very simple. Here you can remember the simple word guidance. Then Burton says that it is stimulation, guidance, direction, and encouragement of learning. So in case of Ryan, if the question is there, you need to remember the direction and guidance as two key terms. And if the question also involves Burton, then you have to remember four words: stimulation, guidance, direction, and the encouragement of learning. Okay, so these are the four words and these are the differences. So we have covered five scholars and I have told you the keywords. These yellow highlighted words are the keywords. Okay, so just remember it. Now let us proceed to further things. For example, now we need to know about the three core requirements of teaching. So for teaching, you need three basic skills. The first is knowledge. You should be knowledgeable enough. Then the second skill is the communication skill. You should be able to convey your messages. If students are not understanding, then it means your communication skills is poor, right? Then aptitude is also needed. Aptitude means ability to do something, as I told you. So this is clear, I hope. Knowledge, skills, and abilities, or the aptitude, these are the core skills which are required. Now let us see the objective of teaching, like why do we teach people. So let's see objectives of learn teaching. So the first objective of teaching is knowledge and skills to learners. Okay, when you teach somebody, you impart your knowledge and the skills as well. For example, if science class is going on and in that some chemistry or physics is being taught and they are performing some practicals, so that is imparting skills. And when the theory class is going on, that is imparting knowledge. Okay, so skills and knowledge goes hand in hand in most of the cases, right? Then nurture students is another thing. Nurture student means that you provide them with the good kind of teaching so that they can grow into better beings and better human beings. Okay, then apart from it, values, morals, punctuality, discipline, this kind of things are also imparted through teaching. And solidarity, brotherhood, teamwork, leadership, these are also few skills which are provided with the teaching, right? When you teach, then these kind of skill automatically get instilled among students. Then moving on to the next thing, that is nature of teaching. Okay, what is the nature of teaching? So teaching is a science. That is first thing. Why? Because it involves systematic and logical use of technology, and it also involves the use of scientific strategies. Like there are a lot of scientific strategies to teach. For example, when we begin the class, we generally apply few methods. First, sometimes teacher try to ask the questions based on previous knowledge. आपने देखा होगा when the class starts, so teacher asks you questions first and then she begins the class, or then he begins the class. Suppose कोई topic चल रहा है, so they will ask you the question first in order to test your previous knowledge. So that is one kind of a scientific strategy, you can say. Then teaching is an art as well. Why? Because teachers are using different methods to aid the teaching process, right? Because different students have different needs and the methods have to be, so all the students which you must be teaching won't be having the same aptitude or the same kind of intelligence. So you'll have to use different methods for different kind of students, and other kind of teaching aids you will have to use. For example, in some cases you will have to provide extra notes, some extra demonstrations and other stuff, right? Now moving on to the next thing, that is teaching is a craft. Why? Because it involves the use of communication skills, it involves creative thinking, critical thinking, management skills, and presentation skills also. So it is a craft because it is filled with the creativity, you can say. Then teaching is a moral activity. Why? Because it focuses on the all-round development of students and not just the defined syllabus, because the motive is to make them the good citizens also. Then teaching is dynamic. because adjustments are made to it very frequently. Sometimes teachers are supposed to cover the syllabus in a faster way, sometimes they have to cut down the syllabus, sometimes they have to expand the syllabus, sometimes there are more classes, sometimes there is no class. So that's why the adjustments are to be made. That's why it is known as dynamic, which changes as per the situation, right? So this is the fifth nature of teaching. Then teaching is a complex activity. Why? Because it is a science, as we studied earlier, it is a craft, it is a art also. So it has multiple aspects which make it a complex activity. Okay, so it is not as simple as it seems. For example, when I made this presentation, the first task was to get the content. Okay, then to design the content, which means the it is a science. Like the way I designed the presentation, that is a science. Then the way I am telling you about the things, that is a art. And craft is both the mixture of science and art, that becomes craft. Okay, so it involves multiple aspects, so that's why it is a complex activity. Then teaching is diverse also, because it involves different students, and for different students you have to different use different techniques as well. Second thing, sometimes the interconnection between the subjects is also there. For example, the geography and economy, history and geography, both are sometimes overlapping with each other. For example, if you are studying the geography of a particular place, then if you know that the geography of this place is not that good, the topography is not good, you can actually figure out how the economy of this place would be. Okay, so these kind of interlinks are there. So that's why teaching is very diverse, and it differ, like different students have different uh, kind of abilities. So that's why the different techniques are also used by different teachers, right? So this is the seventh point. Then eighth point is teaching is continuous. Why? It is a lifelong process, and you can keep on teaching till the time you are alive, and till the time you are able to speak or write, right? Then Robert Lee is a person whose name can be there in the question. He says that education of a human being is never completed until he dies. Okay, so this person's name can be asked, so that's why I have written it. Then teaching is an interactive process. Uh, this is not completely true, but yes, teaching is an interactive process, and it should be. For example, sometimes teaching is a real time two-way communication when the live classes are going on. Sometimes it is partially interactive. For example, I'll upload the video and then you will comment below. So that is a partially interactive. But yes, teaching is an interactive process. Sometimes it is highly interactive, sometimes it is partially interactive. So that is the thing. So these are the 9 natures of teaching which I have told you. So this is all for this video, guys. In the next part, we'll cover some more things. So if you have liked the video, kindly subscribe to the channel.